Hello and a warm welcome. You've joined us on Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. I'm Ashesha Advaryu. With me is Ankita Saxena. And this is a show where we discuss all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today. But before we do that, let's have a look at how the markets are faring for the day. And Ankita, although Nifty is holding on to some amount of gains, Nifty Bank is underperforming in trade today, isn't it?
Absolutely, Shesha. Nifty Bank is reeling under selling pressure. It is down 0.2% right now. It has picked up from the day's lowest point. It is up almost 95 odd points from the day's lows, but nonetheless still trading in the red. But the important thing to note is that we are very, very range bound today. In fact, we are trading both on Nifty and Nifty Bank. We are within previous session's range. 25,131 is where Nifty is also perched at. Very marginal gains coming in there. We have turned very, very flat and very, very range bound on the markets. Also, as far as the broader markets are concerned, both mid cap and small caps are continuing to their outperformance, whether it is the mid caps, that has also turned actually, with marginal gains of 0.1%, and small caps also right now is trading with the gains of 0.1%, but they are pretty much doing slightly better than the frontline indices, even though they have turned flat as of now as we speak. The top sectoral gainer is Nifty IT, that has been doing well. That's up more than 1.5%. Persistent System, LTI Mindtree, Emphasis, Tech M, Coforge, they're all trading with gains of 2+%. But Nifty Realty and banks that saw a rally after Friday's announcement are seeing a bit of profit booking coming in. So these two sectors are trading in the red. Nonetheless, the advanced client ratio is in the favor of advances, but it's a very range bound day coming in, Ashesha.
Well, absolutely. Range-bound day for the Indian equity markets. But let's get going then with all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today. And to discuss stocks on the technicals, we are today joined by Osho Krishnan, Chief Manager, Technical and Derivative Research at Angel One. And from our research desk, we are joined by Ravinder and Kanishka. Thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us. And the first stock that we have on our radar this afternoon is Quest Corp. Now, there's some corporate announcement which the company had informed earlier. Remember, Digitide Solutions and Blue Spring Enterprises, they were demerged from the company a couple of months ago, and now these companies have received approval from NSE and BSE for the listing of their equity shares. The company also said that with effect from June 11, that is tomorrow, these companies will get listed. So there will be 3 separate entities for Quest Corp that was listed earlier. Quest Corp will be in focus on the back of that. The stock holding on to gains of nearly 2% in today's trading session.
Alright, moving on then from Quest Corp, Osho, you've picked out Adani Green for us now. The entire Adani pack is also in focus on the back of that analyst meet, and the Adani group of stocks have picked up. They're all doing very well. Adani Green is up 3% right now. But tell us on the charts, what do you see on the charts for Adani Green? This one's been trading with gains of almost 14% in the last 1 month. Do you see this momentum to continue?
To all of you. Well, yes, looking at the momentum in the whole Adani Group companies, many of the companies have started gaining decent traction after having a very strong consolidation zone. So Adani Green still is having a decent technical structure because it was into a consolidation zone from past 4 trading weeks. And with today's momentum, it is expected that this should continue towards the zone of 1180 to 1200 on the higher end. So I'm expecting that for a short-term trend, the trend has been on a positive front. There has been multiple positive crossover on the EMA's front. That means from a technical point of view, we can see some kind of momentum in the short-term period for Adani Green. So one can definitely look for buying opportunity for immediate target of 1180 to 1200 kind of a zone.
1180 to 1200 zone on Adani Green, a bullish call coming in. But moving on to the next counter, which has all the bulls intact, and that's Grasim Industries. That's up and away 4% as a top Nifty gainer. It is on the back of a very bullish brokerage note by Morgan Stanley. They have upgraded the counter to an overweight from an equal weight and upgraded the target price as well to 3,500 from an earlier 2,975 rupees. It is also their top pick in the coverage. Now, multiple opportunities are at play as far as the paint business is concerned. That has fared better than expected since its launch. Now, the next leg of paint's value unlocking is also in play. Ultratech remains the largest value driver for Grasim, and the company should benefit from a multi-year earnings compounding story at the Ultratech. Now, new age businesses are scaling up fast, driving earnings and value optionality. And the discounts could moderate further when the paints business scales up. But it is a bullish call coming in from Morgan Stanley, where they have upgraded the stock and they've also hiked the target price for Grasim, and on the back of that, that stock is up in away 4%.
Well, yes, so on the back of that report that has come in, Grasim is holding up 4%, the biggest gainer on the Nifty 50 index. But shifting focus to another stock which is up nearly 7%, Jindal SAW, on the back of their capex plans that the company has announced. Rabindra, tell us more about their expansion plans.
Jindal SAW is in focus, where board has approved 3 major capex plans in the Middle East, and the first one is that the company proposes to set up a 3 lakh tons per annum capacity seamless pipe manufacturing facility in Abu Dhabi, and the investment required for this is USD 105 million, which is equivalent to 900 crore, and Jindal will hold a 100% stake in this. Second one is that the company proposes to set up a helically spiral welded pipe project in Saudi Arabia, and for this the investment required will be USD 10 million, which is equivalent to 85 crore, and the company will hold a 51% stake. And the third one is that the company to set up a ductile iron pipe project in Saudi Arabia with the investment of USD 3 million, which is equivalent to 25 crore, and Jindal will hold a 51% stake in this. So company has announced 3 major capex plans with a totaling around 1000 crore. So back of this major capex plan, stock is in focus, and the stock is up nearly 8%.
Alright, moving on then, coming to you, Osho, you picked out Exide Industries for us. Tell us on the chart, what do you see for Exide? If I look at this, this counter, this one's also, in the last 1 month has started picking up. Otherwise, in the last 6 months, it has corrected quite a bit. From here on, how do you see this stock moving?
Definitely, there has been a kind of a counter trend for the counter. Approximately the zone of 380 has played a very significant role in deciding the near-term trend, and with the recent development in the last 3 trading sessions, the kind of a breakout that we have witnessed from the zone of 380 that has been backed by volumes, it is expected that this counter can see some kind of positive momentum in the coming period. So I'm expecting that for a short-term perspective, the first and a very crucial zone is 420 kind of a zone, which is also the 200 simple moving average. But the time it breaches the zone of 420, then from there onwards, it has a potential to retest the zone of 480. So one should definitely keep a track on this counter. Any breakthrough above 420, which is approximately 20 points from here onwards, can give a kind of a 60 points upside movement in the coming period.
That's the view coming in on Exide Industries. We could see an upside. That's the word coming in from Osho. But shifting focus to Eternal, or erstwhile Zomato, Kanishka, there's some negative news piece over here, and stock is sitting with a cut of nearly 1.5% today.
That's right, Ashesha. Stock is sitting with a cut of 1.5% today. Now, Eternal, or Zomato, as we know, is in focus on the back of several key developments. Firstly, the Maharashtra FTA has ordered Blinkit, or that is Zomato's quick commerce arm, to halt operations at one of its Pune dark store due to a lack of an FSSAI license. Now, operations will only resume once the required approvals are in place. Separately, Zomato has also introduced a new long-distance fee for restaurant partners or orders beyond 4 kilometers, which is aimed at boosting margins and enhancing payouts to delivery partners. Both these moves could influence investor sentiment around the regulatory risk and also monetization strategies. Meanwhile, Rapido has also entered the food delivery space, offering competition to Zomato. Now, on the back of all these developments that have been happening since yesterday, the stock is down 1.5% in trade today.
That's Eternal on the back of news flow. But coming to you, Osho, on the charts, what do you see for Zomato? This counter is trading very close to its 52-week high, as I can see. Do you see a momentum in Eternal, and do we see Eternal hit the 300 mark that analysts have been talking about for Zomato?
Last trading week, there has been a kind of a breakout on the technical front, because the counter has been into a very strong consolidation, taking resistance around the zone of 240 and support around 210 to 215 kind of a zone. But last week has been very significant. It has given a consolidation breakout. But again, on the basis of news, there has been some kind of retracement that is going on in this counter. But I expect that any kind of fall towards the zone of 245 to 240 should be auguring very well for the buyers. And from here onwards, one can look for higher targets of approximately 275 as an immediate target. And once it reaches the zone of 275, then we need to review the counter, that whether it has the potential to retest the zone of 300 or not. But as of now, any dip towards 245 should be target very well for, and one can look to accumulate the counter for targets of approximately 275.
Okay, so if the stock falls to 245 odd levels, we could accumulate with a target of 275. That's the word coming in on Eternal Zomato. We got a technical and fundamental news piece over here. But shifting focus to iron ore or mining stocks, which are in focus in trade today. We had NMDC, GMDC and MOIL in focus on the back of fall in iron ore prices that we have seen in the global market. In fact, iron ore futures have fallen below that $94 per ton mark. And remember, all eyes will be on US-China trade talks later today in London. And there are also reports that suggest that perhaps China could come out with more stimulus measures. So several news pieces over here, but despite that, iron ore prices are sitting with cut, and that is the reason all of these mining stocks, NMDC, GMDC and MOIL are in focus today.
All right, all the is focus on the back of the US-China trade talks. But moving on then to M&M and M&M Financials. Well, Mahindra, first piece of news coming in is that Mahindra has raised stake in Mahindra and Mahindra Financials to 52.49% via a 1,652 crore right issue allotment at 194 rupees per share. Also, they have reaffirmed the focus on financial services and rural credit expansion. That's the news coming in. And besides that, we also have Mahindra and Mahindra. The company has reported a 27% year-on-year increase in the production and operational leverage coming in, reaching 89,626 units. The sales grew by 16.6% to 80,458 units, while the export rose 36.7% to 3,672 units compared to same month last year. So on the back of this, M&M is in focus today. It has declined from the day's high. In fact, it is trading towards the day's lowest point right now, succumbing to selling pressure with cuts of 0.1%.
Shifting focus from auto sector to the small finance bank then, Rabinder, Jana Small Finance Bank, although it has given up all of those morning gains, there's some positive news piece over here, isn't it?
Well, Jana Small Finance Bank is in focus, where bank has submitted its application to Reserve Bank of India yesterday for seeking approval for their voluntary transaction from a small finance bank to a universal bank. So back of this, the stock is focused, and in today's trading session, stock is up 2%. And if we look at the 1 week performance, then in 1 week, stock is up approx 7%, and 1 month also the stock is up for more than 4.5%. But stock is up today approx 2% on back of this news.
All right, the RBI rate cuts is a big boost coming for the banking sector. That's the word coming in from CEO of City Union Bank, N. Kamakodi. He also shares their growth roadmap ahead for the bank. Let's go across and take a listen at what he had to say.
Basically, the what is expected is the reduction in the interest rate. Perhaps it will start with the consumption first. Another 2-3% incremental growth for the industry, like credit growth, can be expected this year, fueled by the rate cut cycle. So basically, as it was pointed out during the discussion by the regulator, that the rate cut cycle is front-ended. Obviously, the repricing of assets will happen faster in a short term, maybe about 5 to 10 basis point cut. So net of net, if you look year as a whole, the rate cut and also the cut in the CRR is going to be helping banks to, let's say, maintain their margin in a better way. Finally, when you have about 1% CRR cut that has happened in the last 3-4 months, you will at least have not less than about 75 basis point getting passed on to the term deposits.
Okay, so that's the view coming in from City Union Bank. But shifting focus to the auto sector yet again, we discussed M&M, but now Hero MotoCorp. Osho, tell us, what do charts indicate for this auto company?
See, again, on the technical fronts, there is a kind of a reversal in this counter, although there is an interesting pattern also that is being made on the daily time frame of Hero Moto. So I'm expecting that any breakthrough above the zone of 4,400 on a closing basis can give a very strong momentum in the coming period. The immediate target that comes around for a short-term perspective is approximately 4,650 to 4,700, followed by 5,000 kind of a zone from short to medium-term time frame. So one should definitely keep a track on this counter and try to accumulate at current levels.
All right, moving on from Hero Motor on the charts to L&T. Kanishka, tell us the big order wins here for L&T. Tell us what's the news and the details of the order win.
That's right. The power transmission and distribution business vertical of L&T has won new grid infrastructure orders in India and abroad as well. Now, in India, it has won an order to build 765 kV and 400 kV transmission line jobs pertaining to the integration of renewable energy zone in Andhra Pradesh. Now, in the Middle East, on the other hand, the business has received orders to execute a set of 220 kV and 132 kV gas insulated substations on Turkey basis. Now, these orders come from leading transmission asset owners and also operators in the respective countries as per the exchange filing that L&T has filed. The stock has given up opening gains that it started with but is currently trading around the flat line in the shade of green.
Okay, so new order wins. That is the reason L&T is in focus today. But shifting focus then, Trent, Osho, why have you picked up this stock for us? And where do you see the stock headed from this levels? The stock currently at 5,843. Could it touch 6,000 anytime soon?
See, overall trend was facing a very strong resistance around the zone of 5,700, 5,750. But in the last trading session or in the last couple of trading sessions, there has been a strong breakout in the counter. There has been positive developments on the technical front that we have witnessed a positive crossover among the short-term moving averages. So I'm expecting that it has given a kind of a reversal from the current levels. And now the zone of 5,700 should act as a very strong support for the counter, while on the higher end, approximately 62 to 6,200, 6,200 to 6,280 should be the immediate target that one can expect in trend for the short-term perspective.
That's the view coming in on Trent, but let's shift focus to the entire insurance sector. Then this is on the back of insurance data for the month of May, where for the full sector we have seen growth of about 13% on a year-on-year basis. All of these companies, SBI Life, ICICI Prudential in focus on the back of that. ICICI Prudential in fact reported a growth of about 7% on a year-on-year basis in the month gone by. SBI Life at about 25%. HDFC Life reported 33% growth YOY, while LIC reported a 10% growth. We also have a whole host of brokerage reports that have come in, where Antique, they've raised their target for HDFC Life to 860 rupees per share. They say given the high base of 25% YOY growth last year, private companies are likely to report muted growth in the first half of FY26. But largely on the back of insurance data for the month of May, all of these stocks are in focus today.
All right, so that is insurance stocks in focus today. But moving on, coming to you, Osho, you have picked up KPIT Tech for us. Tell us what's on the charts for KPIT Tech?
Of lately, the IT sectors have started gaining very strong traction, and the mid and small cap IT have also started gaining traction, and that is visible on the technical front. So in the last couple of trading weeks, the counter has seen a kind of a muted movement around the zone of 1,320 kind of a zone. But recently, in the last two trading sessions, there has been volume-based buying that is being seen in the counter, and I'm expecting that there is a kind of a consolidation breakout also on the short-term time frame. So on the immediate front, 1,450 to 1,500 is the zone that one can expect this counter to rally to, and once it breaches the zone of 1,500, then again we need to review. But for now, 1,500 is the immediate target, while 1,300 should provide very strong support for the counter.
All right, so that's KPIT Tech on the charts. But moving on to another IT counter that is in focus today, and that is Wipro on the back of a block deal coming in. Now, Azim Premji Trust sold 20.23 crore equity shares worth 5,057 crores through a block deal, and the details of the deal showed that the average selling cost of the block deal was 250 rupees per share, at which Azim Premji Trust sold the block quantity of shares to three entities, namely Hashim Traders, Prazim Traders and Prazim Trading and Investment Company. Now, Hashim Traders purchased 11.9 crore equity shares, while Prazim Trading bought 5.95 crore equity shares, and Prazim Trading and Investment Company picked up 2.38 crore equity shares, all at an exclusive, average excursion price of 250 rupees per share. In the back of this block deal coming in, Wipro is in focus today, currently trading with gains of 1.4%.
Well, yes, Wipro in focus on the back of that block deal that took place. But let's also talk about power companies. Power Grid, Osho, the stock is flat, absolutely flat today, trading near that 301 odd level. Where do you see the stock headed?
Overall, the power sector is gaining very strong traction in the recent period. Power grid, on the other hand, has not seen that much of traction comparatively to the peer companies, but there has been a positive development on the technical front. On the daily time frame, the counter has seen a sloping trendline breakout, which was approximately around the zone of 290 to 95. And from here onwards, I am expecting that there can be a gradual upside movement in this counter towards the zone of 315 to 320. So one should definitely look out for opportunity in this counter. On the higher end, 315 to 20 will be the immediate target zone for a short-term perspective. And once it reaches the zone of 320, then we again need to review. But for now, 320 should be acting as the first target for short-term trade.
All right, that's Power Grid Corp on the charts. But coming to Tata Power then, Ravinder, you picked up Tata Power for us. Tell us what's the news flow over here?
Solar Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Tata Power Renewable Energy, a subsidiary of the Tata Power and the manufacturing arm of Tata Power has announced that it has crossed 4 gigawatt solar module manufacturing at its Tamil Nadu plant, and the plant has cumulatively produced 4049 megawatt of solar modules and 1441 megawatt of solar cells up to May 31, 2025. With a strategic focus on scaling up production, the TP Solar is targeting a 3.7 gigawatt of solar cell output and 3.725 gigawatt of module production in FY26, further solidifying its commitment to supporting the India's clean energy transition. So back of this news, Tata Power is in focus and the stock is up more than 2%.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Tata Power. But with that, we need to slip into a very short break. We'll discuss many more stocks on the other side, so don't go anywhere.